Hey y'all, it's me again. Tana Jerk. I am on this highway, on the Parkway, GSP, and running some errands, of course. Again, that's what I do, right? If I had more fun, as much as I'm driving around, as most people driving around, I don't know. Anyway, drive time. Maybe it's just drive time. But yeah, I made a video earlier about, crazy conversations, and I think this will be one of them as well, So, it's not a crazy one, but, oh yeah, the crazy ones, let's talk about the crazy ones, because those are the ones that will probably be more interesting, or I can call this a great conversation. I met a young lady, I got my water bill, and I was looking at it, and I was like, well, dag, do I get some of these older people perks, and should I call them and say, y'all charging me the minimum service charge, and I'm using like hardly no water, So I call there to find out if there's some senior people perks. Yeah, I was begging. And she said no. The young lady who answered said no. But I tried. I said to her, AARP used to promise you stuff after, I think it's whatever, 40, 50, I don't know what it is, and you're supposed to get stuff, you don't get nothing but disappointed, right? So, and I told her that I remember my grandparents living in Jersey, and they were, their taxes were, they weren't rebated, but they were discounted or something like that, because of their age or something. They were frozen. I don't remember what it was, so they paid very little taxes. Back there, there's probably a lot back then for that, property taxes, like $2,000, blah, blah. I could be totally wrong what the amount was, but I remember some conversation about that. And I was like, oh, when you get older, you get stuff, right? And you really don't. Like, they AARP, their trips and stuff, and they're usually even more expensive because they figure you old and you got some change to throw away before you die. But ain't even shady, baby. Nice. Yeah, it ain't even that. So, all that being said, excuse me. Oh, he came up on my back. I asked if I was entitled to some discounts. She said, you should write them, because it may be something. There's a lot of seniors who are strapped, like everybody's strapped, and they may need every little bit of help helps, as far as your bills, So, I said, she said, yeah. So we started conversing about stuff, and I learned that she had her own store, a natural store, and I learned that anyone could do it, and I was so excited. So I told her, we were conversing about a lot of something, okay, and a bunch of nothing, all of it was something. And I told her some of my aspirations, and she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you, you can do it, and blah 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 blah, and come by my store. And I was like, blah 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 blah, bring you a gift. I was like, blah 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 blah, okay, I will. And I asked her the hour she would be there, and she told me for that day, and I was like, okay, cool. Now I could not work that out because I was trying to, and I decided not to get into the crazy scramble. And then she said she would help me, and I was like, perfect. And she sounded sincere, and I do believe she's still sincere. And so I made it my business to, one of the items we were talking about was a molcajete. And she's like, what is that? So I told her, I said, well, that's just the Spanish word for it, and it's a mortar and pestle. And she's like, oh. I was like, yeah, it just sounds kind of groovy being called a molcajete, And so she's like, oh. So it's like, yeah. So I wanted to bring her a gift as well. And I believe in, we're forging a friendship, just by a conversation about trying to get a discount off of a water bill. But in any event, and she gave me the address of her store. I told her I would come by, and I did today. And she wasn't there. She was out doing a farmer's market or something, or at a farmer's market, probably working the farmer's market with her goods. And I walked in her store, and I was awed because it smells nice. It's the kind of store that I would like. The area where it is, there's a bunch of stores that are closed and salons. They probably didn't pay the rent or something. It's hard to run a business. And it's quiet over there. And I was like, wow, the kind of store that she has, I would also like to open, but I would not do that. She makes natural soaps and things like that. And you can't compete. You're not going to open a natural soap store down the street from somebody who showed you how. That doesn't make sense anyway. And so she was not there. But I did leave the molcajete for her. But that conversation, it made me feel so awesome, because I know that I'd like to do something else, and I'm so inspired. So I left that in my old card, and oh my gosh, I was just so inspired by just seeing her store. And she said, you can do it. She's encouraging everything. And so I loved it. I loved it. I love her. I love her as a person. I don't know her. I don't even know what she looks like. And this goes down to conversations with people. You get to know people's essence and who they are. And that's why I believe that conversation is good. And it could be quick, because you got to watch it. You know, go watch like that and everything else. And there's a trust factor there. And she's Muslim girl, lady, with a family, of course. And just calm. And so I liked her. And she was so awesome. And I just wanted to mention that in the conversation, calm me down. And yeah, so don't be afraid of people. You know, in this world of you can't cough or need the Heimlich maneuver, you know, you're afraid of people. I think some of this whole thing, scamdemic, was built in order that we do not come together as people. You know, if this is a conspiracy, as it's been said, we do not come together with people because you're afraid. You know, this young man once said to me, I don't like people. I said, but you're a person. Oh, because people will disappoint you. I was like, yeah, well, you disappointed yourself. I were talking about his parents and this, and I was like, listen, I think you're too hard on them, because you got to think about their condition when they had you. He's like, I didn't think of that. I was like, yeah, were they in any condition to have you? We don't know what we're doing. We really don't. You know, as parents, as people, we're just going by some instructions, and some of those instructions, if someone's giving you instructions, that's some formula that they may have used that may not have worked out, or may have worked out for them. I don't know. But, you know, it comes to raising kids. You don't know the condition of your parents when they had you. Well, the condition of this road is kind of funky. But you don't know what condition they were in. They might have been experiment with the natural thing is to make love or have sex. And they wound up with the result of that. You. And now we've got to figure out how to keep you alive. And that's a fantastic feat, for lack of a better word. Not in a way that something's great. It's a great feat, but it's hard. You know, you don't know. Day by day. And it's a huge experiment, and we don't get it right often. And if you try to use the formula that was used by your forefathers, that don't sometimes work, because the time's different. You know, and so don't be mad at people. You know, when parents, when they get it wrong, and parents, don't be so hard on yourself when you get it wrong. Anybody told you how to do this, and would you follow that manual anyway? You know, so in any event, my alarm went off. So, you know, yeah, just me talking about the water bill. I think I got pushed in that direction, because the truth is the water bill was way under $100. It was under $100, but I really looked at it and I said, well, the minimums are these two numbers. Why am I paying the minimum, and the water I use is like $4 worth of water? You know, like, seriously, like, it wasn't $4. It was very low. And the two service charges were like 4 times that amount. Not more than 4 times, maybe 50 times that amount, whatever it is. If the service charges are $30 each, and I only use $4, like what? So she explained whatever. And then I was like, all right, I'm over it. And then I got to converse with her, and we exchanged some ideas, and I met someone, you know. And so I got her name wrong, it's Shakira, it's not Michelle. I gotta get better at that, always trying. And yeah, I'm excited. And right now she's working her business, and she has a day job. And I didn't mention her business because I've just told too much about her anyway, and she's not giving me permission to do that. But I just think it's awesome. And yeah, I got excited. So I think it's okay to converse with people, and not be afraid to converse with your fellow man, you know, or fellow woman, because we're all in the same struggle, believe it or not, and we're in a struggle against our system, and not against principalities. There's while I was in the store buying the molcajete, there was a couple that stopped the young man who was talking to me, about he wanted to get braids in his hair. You know, I'm with some guys who's been here 8 months, he's married, but he liked some. So there's a Arabic young man who was a song, who was an entertainer, and he had braids in his hair. And he's like, you gotta get my hair like yours. I'm wearing braids right now. And I was like, yeah, you probably could, but you gotta get some of that gel and stuff out, and somebody can braid it. And he says, plus people will BSing me. And I was like, yeah, give me, you know, I can find you somebody, but, you know, we'll see. So he's like, okay, cool. And so they came over, said, oh, they want to see you. And he's kind of like, oh, okay. So it was two people that were, they had some Christian stuff, and they were talking about the end times and everything. And I thought that was odd. You know, some people really believe they should be preaching the gospel when in fact, not everybody's into what you're into, you know. So that's another thing for another day. I'm going to go inside and I'm going to handle this business, and I wish you peace and hair grease and live by the ground.